ending of The Equalizer 3 shows Denzel Washington's character dealing with the mafia, but the big question is, does he get a happy ending? Many believe that this third film might be the last one in the Equalizer series. The director, Antoine Fuqua, has mentioned ideas like using technology to make Denzel's character younger or even having his son John David star in a potential Equalizer 4. However, nothing is confirmed yet. Some people thought that if this was truly the final movie, Denzel's character McCall might meet a tragic end, but that's not what happens. The movie concludes with McCall finding some inner peace and choosing to embrace it. While The Equalizer 3 feels like an ending, it doesn't rule out the possibility of a fourth movie. If there is another sequel, it could simply show McCall back on a mission for justice, explaining that retirement didn't suit him. With the character Collins established as a new ally, she might seek McCall's help for an unconventional operation. While a fourth film isn't confirmed, if the third one does well and Denzel is up for it, there's a chance that The Equalizer 4 could happen. The conclusion of The Equalizer 3 brings an intriguing twist for Denzel Washington's character McCall, and it leaves the door open for a possible fourth film. The movie begins with McCall, a former DIA officer, taking down a Sicilian mob base and getting injured in the process. He finds refuge in a seaside village called Altamonte, where the locals treat him like one of their own during his recovery. However, when the mafia outfit, the Camorra, threatens the village, McCall is compelled to retaliate with equal force. In a parallel storyline, McCall assists CIA agent Emma Collins by providing information about designer drugs linked to the mob base he targeted. It unfolds that the Camorra is collaborating with terrorists, leading to a showdown between McCall and Mafia chief Vincent after McCall kills Vincent's brother. The climax involves a violent home invasion, where McCall triumphs. Collins receives a promotion despite her injuries, and McCall, seemingly at peace, decides to stay in the village. This ending sets the stage for potential future adventures or developments in McCall's journey, leaving room for further exploration in The Equalizer 4. In The Equalizer 3, a prominent theme is the idea that people find themselves where they're meant to be, and by the movie's end, McCall seems to have discovered his rightful place. The film portrays a darker side of McCall, still grappling with the loss of his best friend Susan in the second film and the betrayal by former colleagues. McCall's approach becomes more sadistic and brutal, emphasizing a desire to inflict pain on his foes. The opening scene of the movie resembles a slasher film, with a mob boss returning home to a gruesome discovery of his men's bodies. McCall confronts the remaining henchmen in a cellar, effortlessly overcoming them. Before this, McCall hints that his presence is a response to something taken from him. Throughout these events, he carries a mysterious backpack, only revealing its contents to Collins in the final scenes. McCall discloses that the mob stronghold engaged in cybercrime and stole the pension of a retired man in Boston. Inspired by a Lyft encounter, McCall came to Italy with the sole purpose of returning the stolen $360,000 to the man. Collins initially struggles to grasp why McCall would go to such lengths for a stranger, but when she witnesses the joy the recovered money brings to the man and his wife, she understands the profound impact of McCall's actions. This narrative intricacy adds depth to McCall's character and underscores the underlying themes of justice and redemption in The Equalizer 3. And another mystery about why McCall helps a CIA agent Collins. They become friends, but McCall doesn't say why he reached out to her. In the end, after Collins survives a car bomb, McCall gives her his black book. The message suggests her mom would be proud. Collins discovers she's the daughter of McCall's old friends, Susan and Brian. By mentoring Collins and giving her the book, McCall is helping her follow in her mom's footsteps to become a great agent. It shows McCall is ready to retire from his equalizing actions. In Equalizer 3, there's another important story where Collins investigates drug shipments hidden in wine bottles from a vineyard McCall targeted. These drugs, called the Jihad drug, are sold by Syrian terrorists. It's revealed that the Camorra is buying these drugs, supporting terrorism. McCall involves the CIA to stop them. In the end, McCall makes the Camorra chief Vincent take a lethal dose of these pills, and he waits with him until he dies from the overdose. And the bad guys aren't explored deeply and are shown as extremely evil. They commit brutal acts like hanging an old man and cutting off a subordinate's hand. They extort money from stores in Altamonte, but Vincent, their leader, has bigger plans, building resorts and casinos, displacing the locals. Despite the community's kindness to him, McCall stands firm against Vincent's harmful intentions. Now, the idea of making the Equalizer 4 as a prequel by de-aging Denzel Washington has been suggested, but it might not be the best way to continue the story. The franchise, led by Denzel since 2014, is expected to conclude with the Equalizer 3. While there's interest in keeping the series alive, de-aging technology poses challenges and may not guarantee success. Even though it's possible to de-age Denzel based on his younger movies, it often makes characters seem older than they should in action scenes. So, choosing a prequel might raise concerns about how well the de-aging would work for the storyline. When they use special effects to make actors look younger in action movies, there's a common problem. The characters end up seeming older than they appear. This happened with Samuel L. Jackson playing a de-aged Nick Fury in Captain Marvel or Robert De Niro in The Irishman. People noticed that these characters moved like they were in their 70s, even though their faces looked much younger. If they decide to de-age Denzel Washington for Equalizer 4, where he'd be in more action scenes as a younger man, the same issue could happen. It might make the character feel older than he should, especially if the computer-generated effects don't meet expectations. This potential problem with de-aging technology could impact how well the action sequences come across in the movie. So, instead of dealing with these challenges, choosing John David Washington to play a younger Robert McCall offers a simpler and more realistic solution. It avoids the risk of making the character's movements seem off or inconsistent with his younger appearance. Ultimately, going for a natural casting choice with John David Washington ensures a smoother and more convincing portrayal of a younger McCall without the complications associated with de-aging technology. But choosing John David Washington to play a younger Robert McCall in Equalizer 4 instead of de-aging Denzel Washington presents a promising and fresh direction for the franchise. With their striking resemblance, John David could convincingly portray a younger version of his father's character. As he would be in his 40s during Equalizer 4, a prequel could explore McCall's earlier life without relying on complex de-aging technology. John David Washington's experience in action films like Tenet and The Creator positions him well to step into his father's shoes and become the new face of the Equalizer series. This casting choice offers a seamless transition while bringing a contemporary touch to a character set in the 1990s or early 2000s. It also adds a unique layer to the franchise, allowing a father and son to share the same role, creating an intriguing dynamic for fans. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below.